Welcome to Kicking It with GDOVE. That's what you're watching. If you don't believe it, I got a mug to show you that is Kicking It. That's me anyway. So what's going on? Kicking It with GDOVE. It's just like a 15 to 17-minute interview I like to do with artists, athletes, thought leaders, and people that are just doing things in the community and in the world that make a difference. I got a great person that I want you to meet today. His name is TYSON AMIR. He's an author, musician, educator. He's a community organizer. He's just doing all kinds of great things out there. This is the brother right here. And he also happens to be my cousin. So, we're going to talk to TYSON about 3 or 4 different things today. He's writing books, he's teaching, he's doing all kinds of great things. Let's bring to the stage my cousin, my friend, my man, TYSON AMIR. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good, Jerry. What's going on with you, big cousin?
Man, I'm ready for that. I like that, big cousin. I like that, man. So it's good to see you. The other night we went and celebrated your aunt and my cousin's birthday up in Elk Grove. We had a good time there. So I saw you said, no, we got to get you to doing this right now. So I'm glad you were able to make it happen 2 days later.
Of course, man. I always look forward to the work that you're doing. You introduced me, of course, as part of the family. Been looking up to you for years, all the work that you did in radio and just in community, being around entertainers and musicians, man. We love seeing you out there like that. So
I appreciate that,
how you're evolving in your work, and thank you for any time you open up a space for me to be a part of, which has been multiple times over the past few years.
Now, hold on, TYSON. I'm interviewing you. You're not interviewing me, but I like that. Save that for another time, okay? So, hey, look, we're going to break this short time that I have with you into 3 categories because we could talk literally for hours about all the things you're doing. So, I know for a fact that back in 2016, you broke out and wrote your first book.
There it is.
Black Boy Poems right there, and I'm going to show people didn't see that right here. Black Boy Poems by TYSON AMIR came out October 5th of 2016. It says it combines your experience surviving in the wilderness of North America as a Black man with a hip-hop prose and original analysis to shape what is arguably one of the most revolutionary statements of the early 21st century. Man, that sounds important. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, so October 15th is when the book officially came out, because that was the 50th anniversary of the Black Panther Party. So the Black Panther Party came out started October 15, 1966. And that's something that's extremely important to me, my community, our family. My father, he was affiliated with the Black Panther Party up in the Sacramento area and then came down here to the Bay Area. And so when I was raised up, I had a number of elders who were former members of the Black Panther Party, and they taught us that history. And most importantly, they were that example of what folks in our community were willing to do in order to stand up for our people. And that was an example that resonated with me from day one. And so hearing about that, seeing that, doing my best to learn that tradition and carry that tradition on. In 2015, I had the idea for a book. So I'd been performing, doing music and being in community, teaching. I've been doing a lot of these things for years, but I hadn't had an idea that I felt really allowed me to bring a lot of that stuff together. And so when the idea for Black Boy Poems came to me around April, May of 2015, I was like, this is it. And with that idea came so many other things. I knew that I was going to launch an education consulting firm. I knew that I was going to create curriculum. I knew that I was going to be able to get more into the schools and the school districts. So the stuff that we're going to be talking about later on, all of that came in that same moment. So I knew I was going to write this book. This book was going to look a certain way. And I knew with that book, I was going to be able to do these other things. And then there were things that I wasn't seeing that would open up as well. So I just had to make myself ready for that. And when the book officially came out October 15, 2016, it's beautiful. I felt like I really had accomplished something that was going to be beneficial to the community, that I could give to the community. And it felt great putting it in the hands of folks in the community, young people coming up, oh man, I read your book, or people I never met, and be like, did you wrote that book, Black? You know what I'm saying? Like that stuff still happens to this day where people might stop me, in traffic and be like, well, you look familiar. Where I know you from, and then it'll come up, and it was the book. So it was something truly special. We're approaching 10 years now. So in 2026, it'll be the 10-year anniversary of Black Boy Poems, and I think that I'm going to release an updated version and include an audio book for it too, and, and just keep it all pushing.
Wow. So let's back up a little bit. So you said you had this idea in March or April
April, May 2015. It's hard for me to remember exactly when.
Okay, so
but
15.
it
So I
was
was thinking,
April, May 2015.
So just like literally a few months later, this thing is all up and running. It's going crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And so for you to have the foresight and the vision, it's amazing too.
Yeah, this is how it went, right? I was revisiting a book by one of my favorite authors, Black Boy by Richard Wright, which is why my book is called Black Boy Poems. So when I finished Richard Wright's work again, and at the end of it, it was the first time I felt inspired to really want to write something. So everything I had done before that has been music and poetry, a whole bunch of rap albums and poems, but I never wanted to write something that was more long form. And so after finishing his book again, I was like, I want to write something. And then I was like, oh, I know what I can write. I wanted to write something that I felt was going to be a continuation of what Richard Wright did in his day and time, which was early to mid 20th century. He was writing in the 1930s, 1940s, going into the 1950s. And we were almost 70 years from that time when I started writing in 2015. So I was like, okay, yeah, let me do that. And then let me add this new cultural element of hip hop to it, because that's going to be something that's going to open it up to the next generations for a while. And that's how the idea came. And then from there, I was like, okay, I could do this with it too. I'm gonna build a curriculum to make it easier for it to be taught in schools. I'm gonna launch my education consulting firm, and all the other ideas all came at once. And so I just been working that plan since April, May of 2015.
Nice. Let's take a quick look at a video of you actually speaking some of these words that you're talking about. Let's take a look.
Black Boy Poems is for my fellow brothers and sisters who have been kissed by the sun and covered in all the hues of that sublime blackness from head to toe. There is no word or form of man-made art that can truly describe our beauty and greatness. This is for us. I humbly present to you all, my family, the poetic fruit buried deep in my bosom by our loved ones who came before us. The themes of the narratives will be familiar because it is our experience. We know our problems extremely well because we've been confronted with them in the American context since 1619. We are almost 400 years into the experience of Black and colonial and constitutional America. We are still fighting for the same things that we were stripped of once we were placed on those slave boats and shipped from our motherland to this new land which held never before seen horrors and terrors that we would have to survive. We are still here. We are still surviving despite every attempt the system has ever made to ensure our demise. We are living and breathing miracles. We have found life in the most inhospitable of soils. We have thrived in a land that has envied and attempted to stifle our greatness, a land that has taken steps to silence our importance to the growth and development of this society. We are the hated bastard offspring of America, and to America's surprise, her hate and disdain for us has only made us stronger and more exceptional. We have been fashioned into the personification of Black excellence. We will continue to be just that well beyond the days her hateful ways can no longer touch us. I am a proud Black boy, and these are my poems for my people. May they be filled with the wisdom of our ancestors and enriched with a spiritual medicine to heal us all.
I think we do like that, right? That's amazing. That is fantastic, man. So I'm running on the bottom that people can definitely buy this book wherever books are sold. It's Black Boy Poems. Now, I know you, like you said, you've mentioned a couple times, you took it a step further and created a curriculum that they're using in schools all around the country at this point. Talk about that.
Yeah, so it was building on what we were talking about earlier. Like when I was doing my music, and I still do music.
And you're great at that too. I didn't give you a shout out for that, but
it's all
great
good.
Spoken word artist. He's got a lot of slashes in his name there.
I appreciate it. So the music was great, and I love the interaction that I was having with community, but I felt that it was limited because it was like I could put on a great show or I could create a really powerful album, and then people would take that home with them and they would listen. And I felt that there was so much more that could be done. So when I wrote the book gave me an opportunity to take a thought or an idea that would drive a song, but then add so much more to it. And then I was like, I knew that this book was going to be something that was going to be really beneficial for young people, beneficial for the community, beneficial for educators. So I said, well, let me create a curriculum to make it even easier for teachers to bring this into classrooms so it can be a part of the learning experience of students, elementary school students, middle school students, high school students, college students. And so it took about a year and a half to create the curriculum. And so the curriculum is aligned to state standards, meaning that it can be brought into a classroom. Students can learn from it and they can get credit. That's going to get them closer to finishing up their middle school courses or their high school courses to get their high school diploma. So it can be taught in English classes. It can be taught in social studies classes. It could be taught in like creative art classes, ethnic studies. It can be taught in a lot of different places. Social studies, if I hadn't said that yet. And once the curriculum landed, it made school districts and schools look at me even differently. So I was already doing work with schools and school districts once the book came out. But after the curriculum came out, they were like, oh, you're not just an author, you're not just an educator, you're also a curriculum writer. So can you help us create more curriculum for our school or for our school district? Can you help us change our English language arts curriculum, our social studies curriculum, our ethnic studies curriculum, and all of that? So then I started doing more partnership and contracts with districts, helping them either create new curriculum or redesign their curriculum to make it more reflective of what was happening with their students and what was going on in the world right now. And then, of course, bringing in more programming that we created under the umbrella of my education consulting firm. So the curriculum journey has been really good. We've developed a lot of curriculum. And just earlier this year, October of 2025, we released another curriculum based on one of my most recent books, Carry On Tradition. So we have Carry On Tradition, which came out May 19th, 2024. And we have the Carry On Tradition curriculum, which came out on October 15th, 2025.
Fantastic. So again, we could talk about that for hours, but I got a couple more things I'm going to get in with you before we are done here. So the next thing up is the FSMEI, the Freedom Social Media Freedom Social Media Education Initiatives. Easy for
It's
me
a
to
big
say.
name.
It is a big name, so you got to break it down for people like me. Just FSMEI. You're the founder and director of the Black Literary Collective and the revolutionary education consultancy firm that you've mentioned a couple of times already. So this came from, like you said, just growing out of the book and everything that the book was given to you. So what was this about? And who are the people that are working with you on this?
So the FSMEI Freedom Soul Media Education Initiatives, it was just the logical next step. Always for me, I want to be able to do work that matters to my community. You know, becoming rich and famous in the way that the United States or US culture puts celebrity up, that was never really a goal. It was, I wanted to be impactful. I want to connect. I want my work or my creative energy, my artistry, my ideas to resonate with my people and help move my people forward, because those were the examples that were set for me. And with the idea for the book, for real, I keep going back to the book because the book was the first time where I felt like this is more of the direction that I need to be going. Everything else before that was influential and instrumental as well. Like I took the music, I took the poetry, I took the work that I was doing in community, I took the education work that I was doing, and I was able to put all of that together and then put it into this book. And then the book led to the curriculum. The book also led to the formation of what we're talking about right now, FSMEI, an education consulting firm, because I knew it was going to be, I could be more impactful, not working directly in the system of education, but partnering with the educational institution as an independent entity. So I can function based on my own rules and principles. And then when I need to, I can look at how I can strategically navigate the rules and the laws that govern state education. And so the book, the idea of launching the education consulting firm, having the honor and privilege of working with a whole bunch of really gifted and talented Black educators and other educators of color who also have been thinking the same thing. we want to educate, but we don't want to have to educate based on the rules of California or the rules of whatever state or the federal government. Like, we use those strategically when it's good, but then when we need to step outside, we can do that. And then having that independent vehicle made it so much easier to do that. So for the past 10 years, I've been operating an education consulting firm. And for the past, I think now 4 or 5 years, that's all I've been doing. So I have a nonprofit as well, but my main source of income and way that I'm able to generate revenue for my business and also for the community is through my education consulting firm. And that's what I do.
You've got over 200 or 220 school partners, delivered over 1,200 programs, and served more than 50,000 students. That's amazing, bro. That's amazing.
Yeah, we just every day, every month, we add more and more. So we're just delivering more programming, working with more students. We work with adults, so we work with teachers, we work with principals, we work with district leadership, we work with parents, guardians, and caregivers. We service the entire community around schools, because when we're looking at creating real change in schools, it takes everybody. We for sure got to focus on the young people, but we got to focus on the people who are around the young people, who are teaching and examples for the young people. And sometimes those folks, the adults, they need the most correction. You know what I'm saying? So we've been able to do it. And this is what we envision doing for the next couple of years until we're able to evolve to the next step. Oh, yeah. And then another thing, too, that we were able to do this year, 2025, we released our first education film. So we have a documentary on our Black program, which I think we might talk about a little bit. So the Building Leaders and Activists with Collective Knowledge program, we released our first film based on the impact of that. And it's called Black Impact. It's a really powerful film.
Okay, find out more about FSMEI, going to fsmei.org. Again, as you see down there, but I like to tell you too, just in case you can't write that fast. Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk to TYSON AMIR about today is what you just touched on, the Black program. I love that, man. I'm like, how long did it take you to figure out all the words you're going to use for the acronym of Black? Because it's it makes a difference. Everything I like that you're doing, everything is black with white letters. That's why I put the picture of us in black and white, just to make a difference there. So, but I love that you're doing the Black, and that program is Building Leaders and Activists with Collective Knowledge. The Black program has served over 1,000 Black students in 23-24 school year, and is currently serving more than 2,000 students in the 24-25 school year. So we've got just a few more minutes, but I want you to tell folks about this as well.
Yeah, so for the Black program, with the work that we were doing in schools, we started to hear maybe around 2017, 2018, with some of our school and our district partners, they were saying, we need programming specifically for Black students. I was like, of course, we can do that. And came up with an idea for the program, built out a curriculum for the program, and then, of course, had to come up with a name, because names are so important. And so what better name than Black? So I said, we're just going to call it the Black program. And it took me maybe about 10, 15 minutes to come up with the acronym for it, because, and I tell students this who come into the Black program, like, if it wasn't going to be based, if it didn't need to be an acronym, and I'm just telling you what the program really needs to be for you all, it would be building revolutionaries with collective knowledge. So BRIC or something like that, so that, but that doesn't flow as poetically. So Black works. So building leaders and activists with collective knowledge. And that's exactly what we do. And so what you were showing the people is the cover to our Black program journal. So every student that comes into the Black program, they get their book. So that's what this is. This is their textbook that we work from. And the textbook has the curriculum that they're going to be dealing with for the entire school year. And then we created a video curriculum for the students as well, based on QR codes. So in October, they're learning about the Black Panther Party, because the Black Panther Party was founded in October. In November, there's a different subject matter. December, a different subject matter. January, we're talking about Dr. King, because Dr. King is born January 15th. February, Origins of Black History Month, and a few other things. March, Revolutionary Black Women, because it's Women's History Month, and so on and so forth. So depending on the month that we're in, the QR codes take them to a video curriculum that gives them more information on top of what we talk about when we have our sessions with the students. And it's been a great program. And the last year, 24-25 school year, we had more than 2,000 students. This year, 25-26 school year, we're up to about 1,600 students participating in the program. And the impact is beautiful. I mean, I have students who, I mean, just about a week ago, I had 2 students who are former members of the Black program who are now at their colleges reach out to me and been like, man, you know, I was in the Black program. I want you to come bring some of that to my college because we got an event coming up. Can you come for Black History Month? Can you come for this? So we are building literally those relationships that are transcending the time that I see them, whether it's in their elementary school, middle school, high school, and they're learning about their history, their culture, and their tradition. And it's powerful. So
you are building the branches on your tree that you've already created, your tree of life that you've created. The branches are getting out there. And when they're sharing your message that they learned at such a young age, you know you made the impact on them. And again, I can't applaud you enough, man, for all the nice things you said about me. I bounce back times 10 for you because, again, as my cousin, I've known a young guy, and just you've always been a little separated from the other kids your age, and now that you're a man and everything like that, you know, you always were. You're a little more serious than some of them kids.
I was always thinking. I was trying to figure it out, Jerry.
We can see that. We can see that, and you've done that, and it worked, and I respect and appreciate you the same way you appreciate and respect me, man. So let's shout out any mentors that you might want to give some love to, because along the way, because I know as smart as you are, you still have some people who are walking you in the right path as well. Anybody you want to talk about?
Definitely. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you for that. So of course, our family has been so pivotal in setting a solid foundation and being an example. One of the mentors that I've learned from learned a great deal from over the past 8 years is the former leader of the Black Panther Party, Sister Elaine Brown. She was the only woman to ever lead the Black Panther Party.
Yeah, I know Elaine.
Yeah, Sister Elaine. Like I've had an opportunity to work with her almost like day in, day out for about 7 years on a project, which led to the creation of 79 units of 100% affordable housing in West Oakland, the Black Panther building. And so being able to be around her, talk to her, learn from her, watch her example, hear her give me so much history about the party. And, you know, Huey was doing this and Bunchy Carter was doing this. And I met Fred, and Fred Hampton was George Jackson. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, for me, somebody who was raised up on that, that was the best type of education that I could get. I'm learning directly from the source. So Sister Elaine. Another sister that I'll highlight is Sister Deborah Watkins, who is one of my education mentors. She was somebody who really helped me understand how to build an education consulting firm, how to work with schools, how to work with school districts, how to put contracts together, and how to make sure that the work was as potent as it could be and not build yourself up too fast where you can't deliver on what you say. Because if your reputation starts to move in that space where it's like, yeah, he's cool, but he don't ever follow through on his work, ain't nobody gonna mess with you. So the reason why my programs have been able to expand like they've been able to expand is because we deliver on what we say and we bring something that is high quality. So family, I'll shout out Sister Elaine, I'll shout out Sister Deborah. There's a number of other people that I can shout out, but I know we're getting close on time. Those are folks that I think are really, really important.
It's great. Like I said, I know Elaine very well, and I know all about the housing that she created out there in Oakland. And just, again, very proud of her and what she's doing. My next door neighbor, Barry, I got to shout him out. He's an ex-Black Panther as well from Oakland too. So, so I know Black Panthers in and around my life all over the place. So once again, if you want to find out more about this gentleman, go to TysonAmir.com, Tyson, TYSONAMIR.com. You can find out more about the Black Boy poems, about the Black Boy curriculum, about the FSMEI, about the Black program, about everything else. And if you want to watch the show all over again, make sure that you check us out on YouTube, LinkedIn, X, and a whole lot more. Share with your friends. Tyson, thank you very much for joining us. It's been great. I appreciate you. We'll catch you next time with another episode of Kicking It with GDOVE.
Right on.